Nirvana means freedom from pain and
suffering in the external world. That's just the
it.
Webster's dictionary. I mean, that's just right out of the Webster's dictionary.
And
welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're discussing the real true story of Nirvana.
Seattle! There's no other music like Seattle music.
For this video, we're looking at one of the greatest bands in history, from their rise to fame to their tragic end and lasting legacy. What's your favorite Nirvana song? Sound off in the comments. Early days. Nirvana's story begins in Aberdeen, Washington, where Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic bonded over their love of music, in particular the local band Melvins. The two were still in high school at the time. Cobain asked the older Novoselic to start a band with him, but it took some convincing. Fortunately, after Novoselic listened to a demo of Cobain's former band Fecal Matter, he was sold. With Cobain on lead vocals and guitar, and Novoselic on bass, Nirvana was born, though they weren't called Nirvana just yet. The pair went through a number of drummers, starting with Aaron Burkhardt in 1987. The next year, Melvins drummer Dale Crover replaced Burkhardt. Then Dave Foster took over for Crover for a few months until Burkhardt briefly returned. Cobain and Novoselic put out an ad in Seattle's The Rocket with no success, but eventually met Chad Channing, who played a show with them in May 1988. That November, the band released a cover of Shocking Blue's Love Buzz through local record company Sub Pop. In June 1989, they put out their debut album Bleach and went on their first tour, joined by second guitarist Jason Everman, who later left the band. Bleach had decent sales and was popular on college radio stations, but Cobain was upset that Sub Pop hadn't done more to get the word out. Nirvana began working on a second album in April 1990. Channing left, and the band recruited Mudhoney drummer Dan Peters for their single Sliver. Crover returned for a short West Coast tour with Sonic Youth. Finally, in September 1990, Melvins singer Buzz Osborne introduced former Scream drummer Dave Grohl to the band.
And then I got a phone call from a friend, and I had told him that Scream had broken up, and he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Nirvana?" And of course I'd heard of Nirvana because everybody loved that album, Bleach.
Grohl played his first show with Nirvana on October 11th at Olympia's North Shore Surf Club. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Within a few songs, I just knew. They knew, we knew that this was it.
Breaking into the mainstream.
I don't want to harp on the name. It wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It'll be a household word in no time.
After signing with major record label DGC Records in 1990, Nirvana began recording their sophomore album. Their single, Smells Like Teen Spirit, debuted September 10th and quickly became a grunge anthem. The song was everywhere, and thanks to MTV, so was the iconic music video. Nevermind was released on September 24, 1991 to critical acclaim, eventually selling over 30 million records worldwide. This sudden rise to fame was jarring for the band, and a lot of pressure was put on Kurt as the frontman.
It's never been a main goal of ours.
Nirvana never expected or sought out this level of attention, and needless to say, it created some issues.
I think we all sort of processed it and dealt with it and did it in our own ways. And, you know, as the drummer of the band, I really was like practically anonymous.
Cobain suffered from chronic stomach pain and had developed an addiction to heroin. What's more, there was trouble within the band, as Cobain wanted a larger portion of the band's songwriting royalties. By 1992, Cobain's health and Nirvana's potential disbandment were heavily speculated on in the media. Nonetheless, Nirvana delivered several notable performances that year, including Saturday Night Live and MTV's Video Music Awards.
I'm so happy, 'cause today I found my friends in my head.
They also headlined the 1992 Reading Festival in the UK, later releasing a live album of the performance. Kurt, Courtney, and In Utero. In 1991, Kurt Cobain had met Courtney Love, lead singer/guitarist for the band Hole. Love has stated that they, quote, bonded over pharmaceuticals. The two rock stars married on February 24, 1992 in Hawaii. Fans and tabloids dubbed them Courtney in honor of the god and goddess of grunge. On August 18, 1992, their daughter Frances Bean Cobain was born. But in September, a scathing Vanity Fair profile accused Love of drug use during her pregnancy, resulting in Child Services taking Frances from the couple. They later regained custody. Despite their legal troubles, both Love and Cobain continued using drugs on and off. On September 13, 1993, Nirvana released their third album, In Utero, which topped the charts. They went on their American tour the next month, along with Germ's Pat Smear as a second guitarist. In November, the band recorded their iconic acoustic performance for MTV Unplugged with cellist Laurie Goldston.
I wish I was like you. Easily amused.
Defying the network's wishes, they played some lesser-known material and covers. Reportedly, it was Cobain who had requested the stage be decorated with stargazer lilies and candles. When producer Alex Coletti asked him, quote, "You mean like a funeral?" he responded, quote, "Exactly, like a funeral."
I'm so tired, I can't sleep.
Kurt Cobain's tragic death. As Nirvana's fame grew, Cobain's health continued to decline. According to his cousin, Bev Cobain, he had been diagnosed with ADD when he was younger, and later bipolar disorder. In his final years, he also suffered from depression and continued to struggle with drug addiction. Nirvana played what they didn't know would be their last American show on January 8, 1994 in Seattle, and their final show ever on February 29th in Munich, Germany. While on a tour break, Cobain went to Rome, where Love would later join him with their daughter. The next morning, she found him unconscious in their hotel room from ingesting champagne and tranquilizers. He recovered in the hospital and was released. Back in Seattle, Love arranged for an intervention with his friends and colleagues on March 25th, resulting in Cobain checking into Exodus Recovery Center a few days later. But he escaped shortly after, scaling a 6-foot wall. On April 8, 1994, Kurt Cobain's body was found by an electrician visiting the Seattle house. He had taken his own life with a shotgun, leaving behind a note addressed to his imaginary childhood friend Boda, with messages for his fans, wife, and daughter. The medical examiner determined he died 3 days prior on April 5th, after having been missing for a week.
I'm still processing Kurt's death, you know? Because I have to explain it to my kids, who love Nirvana.
Fans mourned the artist's untimely death in vigils around the world, while the media continuously reported on the incident.
It was the first time I cried about losing something or someone. It felt like someone you knew.
MTV paid tribute to Kurt by playing Nirvana's music videos on a loop and re-airing some of the band's interviews.
He had so much left to write, and I think in a way, and I don't mean this speciously at all, that I think he was the closest that his generation came to a John Lennon.
However, there were also rumors of foul play, and conspiracy theories about Love's possible involvement endure to this day. The end of Nirvana. Kurt's death was the end of Nirvana. Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl went on to make music in their own bands. Grohl assembled the Foo Fighters in 1994 and released a debut album a year later. Novoselic kept a lower profile with small bands like Giants in the Trees, while also getting into political activism.
It'd be silly to say that it doesn't feel like there's something missing, and I think about Kurt every day.
In November 1994, Nirvana's MTV Unplugged performance was released and earned the band a Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album.
From 1991 to 1994, when I think about that period, it feels like it was 10 years.
In 1997, Novoselic and Grohl, along with Courtney Love, formed Nirvana LLC. Together, they'd oversee future Nirvana projects including box sets, unreleased material, and documentaries.
So there's a bond that is like a forever thing between all of us.
Love would later sue, with the former bandmates issuing a countersuit, both parties trying to remove the other from the company. After years of feuding, they reached a settlement and in 2002 released a self-titled greatest hits album with a previously unreleased track, You Know You're Right. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Legacy. In 2014, Nirvana was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Grohl and Novoselic appeared on stage with Courtney Love and Kurt's family, showing a reconciliation between the rockers after years of drama. Kurt's legacy also lives on in his only child, Frances Bean Cobain. An artist in her own right, Frances executive produced the 2015 documentary Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck. Naturally, she is a talented artist just like her parents, and has a career as a model and in visual art. She also has a beautiful voice. Recent blockbusters have renewed interest in Nirvana songs, leading to increased streaming numbers. 2021's Black Widow featured a dark opening credit sequence set to a cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Think Up Anger and Malia J. Something in the Way inspired Matt Reeves' script for The Batman, so much so that it became a part of the film.
From your secret friend. Underneath the bridge.
Actors Robert Pattinson and Paul Dano both cited Nirvana and Kurt Cobain as a major inspiration for their characters as well. Many credit Nirvana for having a huge impact on their personal and creative lives. The band inspired an entire generation, and their influence continues to live on in pop culture.
I'll get fan letters, or I meet people, like in the public, and they'll say, Nirvana got me through a really bad time.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.